Hello, hello, guys. It is Thursday. It's January the 7th. It's the first Thursday of the new year. Happy to be here with you guys today. I'm broadcasting here from my home in Irvine, California. And today I have Anne with me. She is broadcasting from Kauai, the Hawaiian island. So I'm super excited to talk with her today and bring her to you guys. If you haven't watched the show before, the show is designed to talk about moving from California. And if you did, where would you go? And sometimes on the show, we talk about different markets where people want to move permanently to. And other times we get to talk about fun places where in this scenario, maybe you want to move to Kauai permanently, but you may just want a second home there, which would be a pretty cool spot to do that as well. So we're going to dive into all that in today's show. And I'm just excited to bring on Anne. I'm an agent here in Orange County, California, and people move from here for a variety of reasons. Sometimes it's housing affordability. Sometimes it's lifestyle, just maybe a combo of the two, better weather. So we are going to jump right in. So first, Anne, welcome to the show. And tell us a little bit about you, your background. Did you grow up in Kauai? How did you become a Hawaiian?
Great questions today, and thank you so much for having me on your show. I'm thrilled to be here. So I unfortunately did not grow up on Kauai. I grew up in Monterey, so Northern California. But I came to Hawaii the first time when I was 12, and as a little 12-year-old, I said, I'm gonna live here someday. And I went to all the different islands over the years, and I'd settled on Kauai. It took me a while to get here, but I finally moved to Kauai, and I love that it's my home.
Oh, it's so fun. I love, if you're watching us on Facebook or on YouTube, you can see my background is a fireplace and Anne's background is a tropical fish. So I'm digging her January day over mine right now. It's pretty awesome.
Have a little ocean view right there.
A nice ocean view from her home. That is awesome. Yeah, we didn't get to talk about this before the show, but I have family who lives on the Big Island of Hawaii. So okay. I'm becoming more and more in love with the Hawaiian culture every day. But my family's on the Big Island. And when I've vacationed in Hawaii, I've been to many of the islands there, but Kauai has always been my favorite island. So it's interesting that you came from California and settled there. Let's start the show just by talking a little bit of the real estate numbers. A lot of times when people are thinking of moving there, they want to jump right to the numbers and how it compares. So here in my market in Orange County, I did run the numbers. Everyone runs the numbers a little differently. I use a 3-month rolling average. So this is October, November, December numbers all averaged out. And the median home price in Orange County was $925,000. The median condo price was $555,000. So how does that compare to Kauai?
So I'm going to break it up kind of into North Shore, East Side, and South Side, because there are 3 different markets on Kauai.
Okay.
Even to just dive in a little bit deeper, the properties you can use as vacation rentals are limited, and so it affects the value a lot. For example, I live in Princeville. So within Princeville right now, the lowest price single family home is $1,395,000.
Wow,
right?
okay.
If you were to go to Kilauea, which is a great place to live, but a place that does not allow vacation rentals, entry there is probably closer to $700 to $750.
Okay.
Right? So if you're looking for, which a lot of mainland buyers are looking for something that they can buy, that they could live in if they want to, that they could vacation rent or long-term rent, you're gonna pay right now probably 1.6 and up for that.
Wow. I've always heard that Oahu is the most expensive of the islands. I think Maui is the second most expensive, and Kauai is the third most expensive. I'm in an expensive market. Newport Beach and Laguna Beach certainly has those big numbers, coastal, but you can go inland in my market and get a, 3-bed, 2-bath home for, I don't know, $750 to $850 price range. So it almost sounds like our markets are pretty similar in terms of price point, but that's interesting to hear how it breaks down. So coastal and inland, and you're different, almost more like by vacation.
Right. So our inland market would be similar to like Kapa'a or Wailua.
Okay.
And so there you can get into a house for around 650, right? So
Okay.
that would be the market there. And it
Mhm.
goes up from there, but you can get a house for around 650.
What
The west side would be the most affordable side,
the west side? Okay.
which is
So
like Kaha, Waimea, west of the Poipu area.
okay, got it. On my trip there, it seemed like there was sort of like I guess for the average tourist, north side and south side, that was the two shores that we knew of. And
Yeah.
I knew of the south shore is the sunny side and the north shore is the pretty side.
Yes. Yeah, the south side, they call it sunny Poipu because it's really sunny just about every day of the year.
Yeah.
And the North Shore, we do get a lot of rain, which makes it a beautiful tropical lush jungle. And we have
Yes.
emerald green mountains and we have Hanalei Bay. I mean, we have, like 4 world-class beaches within a 15-minute driving. 15 minutes of driving, right? It's if you like hiking, if you like the ocean, any kind of ocean sport, it's hard to beat the North Shore of Kauai.
Yeah.
If you can.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting too because it seemed that all of the ultra nice hotels were on the North Shore and the jungly side too, because I think they want to be where the beauty is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the most expensive real estate is actually in Kilauea above Secret Beach. Our highest price point home sold there about a year and a half ago for about 46 million.
Wow.
And then after that, it was a large parcel with many homes in. And then after that, it would be Hanalei Bay, where there are a couple of transactions that have closed for over 40. But once again, those were many parcels put together with multiple homes. But your average home on Hanalei Bay, average, that's definitely the wrong word to use.
Yeah.
But, you're looking at 15 million and up.
Ooh, crazy.
I see. Yeah.
Well, it speaks to how beautiful it is. That's why you're able to pull the big numbers.
Hanalei, I mean, I always say Hanalei Bay, it's like the most beautiful place in the world. So
yeah. Awesome. Well, so tell me, why do you think Californians are moving there? I mean, certainly the beaches are a big draw. I think normally, like when a Californian moves to, Arizona or Texas, it's often a job that draws them.
Yeah.
Do you think it's like maybe because people can work from their laptops, or what's bringing people over there?
So it is the fact that people can really live and work remotely that has opened Kauai up. And it's one of the reasons why a lot of people from California still want to buy in the areas where vacation rentals are allowed. Because I think even though they're allowed to live wherever they want now, I think they're just looking into the future and saying, if that ever changes, I want to be able to vacation rent my house so I can still use it when I want to. But my clients from California in the last few months that have moved here, COVID has been a big motivator. Yeah. People want to get out of California, right? Yeah. But like one moved here and she told me she'd been evacuated by her house 4 years in a row for fires. Oh, right? Yeah. So that's a big thing, right? People, another person said, I can't stand, we have so few COVID cases here.
Yes.
Really pretty attractive for a lot of people, especially people that have any kind of situation where COVID would be really dangerous if they were to get it. Yeah. Right. So we've been able to keep our numbers down so low that it's just a really attractive place for people to live. So what people have been saying to me is, I'm going to move there for the next couple of years and then they'll figure it out. Yeah. Right. Yeah. And they'll decide if they want to stay or if they want to move on or, what the plan is for them.
Yeah. It's interesting because the world is truly like opening up. People have, for the first time in maybe a long time or even forever, have said, where do I really want to be? Because I have the opportunity to kind of if I'm going to bang on a keyboard, I could do it with an ocean view or, get stuck in traffic. So it's kind of cool to see people taking advantage of it. And like you said, sometimes life is an adventure. Maybe you go for a year or two and maybe you come back mainland, or maybe you end up in Mexico. I don't know. It's like keep your options open and see where life takes you. It's exciting.
Kauai, like a lot of places, has wanted to have more high-tech, high-paid jobs, right? They've wanted to be more of like a farming and a high-tech industry, and this might be what takes us there, right? The fact that we can have people here in that community, and it might spread a little bit with the people who are already here as well.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit more about Kauai in terms of like how big it is, like how many people are there? Is it maybe if you haven't been there, like how, I don't know, how long does it take to drive from one side to the other? How many people?
Yeah. So Kauai is the 4th largest of the Hawaiian Islands.
Okay.
Right after Oahu, the Big Island, Maui, Oahu, then Kauai. We have about 65,000 full-time residents, and then generally we have a lot of visitors as well, right? Yeah. So we have 3 public high schools. We have charter schools and private schools as well. But it's considered the Garden Isle, which means not just the richness and the beauty of the North Shore, but it's also the least developed of all the 4 main Hawaiian islands.
So give us kind of a layout, because I've been to Oahu. For those listening, maybe they haven't. Oahu is a ton of high rises. So do you landscape high rises or beach cottages, or what does it look like?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we have just a couple hotels that may be considered a high rise, but the famous one is the Marriott in Lahui on Kalapaki Bay. And after that was built, the people of Kauai looked at it and said, "We do not want more of this." And so they actually passed a law that said nothing can be taller than the tallest coconut tree.
Oh, that's interesting. That's a great rule.
Yeah, so you don't find very many tall buildings on Kauai. 3 stories is about the max height. Okay. There's a few exceptions to that, but not that many.
So how about like the homes? Are they kind of older, 1960s built? Do you have any new construction?
Yeah, we have a lot of new construction, or maybe I shouldn't say a lot. I mean, we do have older homes, but people often buy land. I mean, part of the Kauai dream is buying land and building a home. There's a subdivision on the south side in Poipu called Kukui'ula. Lots of building going on there. A couple other subdivisions. Wainani has a lot of new homes. Princeville has a lot of new homes. Kapa'a, Kilauea. I mean, people do build new homes, and we kind of have a housing crisis in that we need more homes. And so the county, about a year and a half ago, or almost 2 years ago now, passed 2 different laws, which I believe have in California. One is an ARU and an ADU, meaning you can build an additional dwelling unit on a residential property or an additional rental unit, right? So you can legally put another house or rental unit on a single family home lot, as long as it isn't in conflict with the subdivision rules, right? Okay. But especially in Hawaii, where we live multi-generationally, it's been super helpful. Or also, people that live here, they really want to have a part of their house they can rent out, often to just help them, afford living here.
Yeah,
yeah, it helps everyone. So that's been really great.
Yeah, it's interesting. In California, we used to be able to build like a granny unit, is what we typically refer them as. But you could only use it for a family. You couldn't legally rent it out. And now the new law is they want you to rent it out because there's, again, more people than homes. So it's interesting you guys have the same. But in Hawaii, you guys call it like a ohana or something, right? Like a second home that's for like a little mini guest house in the back.
Yeah, it can be attached too.
Okay.
Like ohana isn't always detached. It's usually an ohana actually is attached, right? So a typical ohana would be like a 1 bedroom. So you'd have like a small front room and kitchen and a 1 bedroom, and
Yeah.
you'd have something like that.
Well,
Sometimes it's 2 bedrooms, 1 bath, but it's usually a pretty small little space, that you can rent
yeah.
out to someone.
Well, I'd go the opposite. I'd live in the little house in the back and rent out the big one up front. That would be my strategy there.
People definitely do it. It works. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, if you do decide to go that route, is
Yeah.
it construction? I mean, do you help clients? Like, you have a workforce for contractors, or you have to bring people in, or?
No, we definitely we call it being in the trades here, and there's lots. I mean, there's lots of people in the trades. So I mean, we're really busy right now. Our market, like yours, is kind of on fire. So
Yeah.
um, everyone in the big trades are busier than usual,
Yeah.
but there's very talented people that work here.
Yeah, that's great. If you can bring in the locals, I think that's the way to go. They understand the flavor of the neighborhoods and all of that. Give you
For
the
sure.
local feel. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's exciting. Tell me about real estate taxes. Is there anything weird as far as like any high HOA fees or real estate fees that would be maybe, I guess, surprising to a Californian or something we should know there?
That's a great question. So if you're used to coastal communities or beachfront properties, our HOA fees probably will not seem that high to you. If you're unfamiliar with maintenance that an oceanfront property takes, then it'll
Yeah.
probably be high to you, right? So I always say if you're oceanfront, if you're under 1,000 a month in HOA fees, really that's on the lower side, and if you're over, then that's on the higher side. The place I'm in right now, it's about 830 a month. But as far as real estate taxes, we have low real estate taxes on Kauai. How you use, and taxes are determined by both the value of the property and also how you use the property, right?
Oh, okay.
So if it's your primary residence and you live in it, then it's just a little over $6 per every 1,000 of assessed value, right? So it's up like a little more than half a percentage, right?
Okay.
Now,
Yeah.
if it's a long-term rental or an investment property, a second home, then you're paying $9.40 for every 1,000 of assessed value. And if it's a vacation rental, it's $9.85.
Okay.
So all of our tax rates are under, at least those ones, the main ones are under 1%,
Yeah.
right? So compared to most of the country, it's extremely low.
Definitely. Our base rate in California is 1%, but by the time the cities do their overlays and things, most of us are paying 1.25%. So that's pretty cool. You can keep your taxes low.
Yeah.
So if you get those higher HOA fees, you mentioned kind of the HOA has the maintenance of the ocean, which makes me think of like the weather and just sort of insurance. Do you guys have hurricane insurance or hurricane issues or anything like that we should know of?
I mean, we do get hurricanes. The last one that hit was in 1992, and it was a bad hurricane, but we don't get them that often. As you can see, the last one was 1992. But your HOA fees do cover all exterior maintenance, including hurricane insurance, which is water and wind insurance.
Yeah.
And it's their job to maintain the structure of the building. So if the building has to be rebuilt, they're rebuilding it along with the roof and anything else with the exterior maintenance, landscaping, your pool. And it just, when you're dealing with oceanfront properties, the salt air really does affect everything.
Yeah.
So it just is more maintenance than something like in Arizona, where you could lock the door, come back in 20 years, and you have a layer of dust, but everything else is pretty much it's frozen in time. Where on Kauai, as I like to say, the jungle is always trying to take over.
Yes.
So,
that's true.
yeah.
That's too funny.
But it's a beautiful jungle. So
Yeah. Well, I think there's pros and cons to everything, and I wouldn't even say that's a con. I think it's just the moisture is makes it so beautiful. So you got to embrace it and welcome it in.
Yes, that's true.
So how is getting to Kauai? Is there easy flights? I imagine for LAX there's probably daily flights.
Yeah, pre the pandemic, we had lots of direct flights, especially for Southern California and California as a whole. You know, during the pandemic, our flights have dramatically decreased. And so, you know, I was talking to a client today who told me he keeps booking his direct flights and the airlines keep canceling them and routing him to Oahu. But there are some direct flights still. But there's like from San Francisco or LAX or San Diego, it'll be one or two a day instead of, you know, one every hour or whatever it was.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, one or two a day means you can get there. So that's all you need. All you need. Yeah, it's interesting. We're still kind of evolving through this COVID thing, but I think we're hopefully getting a little bit closer to things opening up. That's part of the reason your cases are so low too. I know they've been pretty strict on screening people before they get there. So all in all, I think it's a good thing because it's safety for everybody. So
for sure.
Well, before we wrap up, I've had an awesome time chatting with you. I wanted to ask you about a deal of the day. So this is any property that you know of specifically that you can sell right now on the show to the listeners, something that you think a Orange County person or California person or myself would buy. Just send you the money and let's do a deal. So what do you have for us?
Deal of the day is a house in Poipu Beach Estates, and it's actually so Poipu Beach Estates from the beginning allowed for an additional dwelling unit. So there's a main house and then a front cottage.
Okay.
It's in an area where vacation rentals are allowed, and the way that the main house is built, it actually functions as two rental spaces. So pre-COVID, it was grossing about $20,000 a month.
Whoa.
And you could buy it. It could be yours. It's essentially across the street from Kaloa Landing, if you're familiar with where that is in Poipu, which is down the street from the Kukui'ula Shopping Center, and probably a 7 to 10 minute walk to the beach in front of the Sheraton in Poipu.
Yeah.
So it's a great spot.
Well, I'm gonna inquire a little bit more on that. That sounds like a great one. Then you have the vacation opportunity and the rental opportunity.
Or if you're thinking North Shore, one of my favorite houses is for sale again on Hanalei Bay. I call it the hospital house because it was built originally to attract a doctor to move to Hanalei. And it's special to me for a few reasons, but one of the reasons why is it's a double lot. And it turns out that one of the lots was originally owned by an ancestor of mine, right? No, who moved here in the 1800s and lived here and raised his family here, and they lived here for several generations. But that's a great house, a great spot on Hanalei Bay, listed at $16.5 million. The house and the guest house both have vacation rental rights. And it's like this super charming Hawaiian plantation home.
That's killer. So, and I have to say, so you're like ultra knowledgeable because you know North Shore, South Shore, investment properties, land properties, construction. I mean, that's pretty awesome. I think you're like a full service realtor. So if people want to connect with you, I mean, it seems like I answered my own question, but do you work the whole island or how can people work with you? Do they have a $15 million buyer?
I do work the whole island. And really initially I would just have a conversation with everyone. Some people are really specific as to what they want, and some people are open to the whole island. So we just kind of drill down and figure out really, kind of what their dream is and go from there.
Yeah, I love it too that you used to live in California because I think if we do make a move, even if it's a second home, just having your background and knowledge is super helpful. So appreciate that from you too. If you're watching this, you can see Anne's contact info. And if you're listening to our podcast, I'll put it in the show notes, but her phone number, respectfully, don't blow her up. Don't text her unless you're an actual interested buyer. This is our real cell phone, but it's 5808. So that's how you get a hold of Ann. And certainly if you are thinking of moving from California and you have a house to sell, I'm your gal here in Orange County, and my info, I'm best reached online. I'm at Danae Aballi. That's no one else in the world has my name, so I'm easy to find. You can look me up on the web, Instagram. But yeah, we're happy to do the show and to give you guys this valuable content, see if it's something that fits your lifestyle. But if you want to make a move, Kauai is a spot to check out. So thanks for coming on the show, Ann. Anything else that maybe a Californian should know that they don't know when they move over to Hawaii?
Sure. Well, I mean, I think I mentioned this, but we also have world-class surfing. But most of all, Kauai really is this special place to live. And whether your life affords you to live here full time like me or part-time, it really is, one of these places that just is such a special place that if you can have a little bit of Kauai in your life, it really matters.
Well, it's interesting because normally I dive in a little bit more about what's there to do in your market. But if you don't know what there's to do on a beautiful island like that, you're just, I don't know, you got to travel more. But the snorkeling, the scuba, the surf, the just laying on the beaches. I mean, there's just so many great opportunities. One of the things I did on my last trip there was the hike to the waterfall. Well, there's several waterfalls, but just unbelievably gorgeous.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would say hit up Ann, go on vacation and check it out. I think it's pricey, but sounds like the rental market is pricey as well, so you can offset that. And yeah, I love having you on the show. So thanks for coming on. And thank you guys for watching. We'll catch you on the next one.
All right. Aloha.
Bye.